Good morning, all. Happy Friday. I hope you slept well. I hope you slept well. I did indeed. Indeed, I did. Christ is King. Indeed. I love Baron. Man, oh man. Well, guys, I have a couple things to touch on. I do indeed. Well, on 2 occasions now in the last 14 hours, I've seen discussion about the Florida area. I live in the Florida area, born and raised, Floridian here, baby. And how a lot of people are moving. They're relocating. And it's going to be a high volume of that, most likely, in the few years to come in the future. I agree. And on the news, Fox News, just a few minutes ago, they said it's because the taxes and the crime. No, it's not. That's a portion of it, definitely. But the taxes and the crime are everywhere. Let's just be clear here, okay? That is in every state, all 50, all right? The reasoning why you have so many people relocating is because of the cost of living in Florida has skyrocketed, okay? In reference to the mortgages, the interest, gas prices, food, okay? Not to mention, if you don't even have the ability to own your own home, you're renting. And renting is outrageous in the grand state, Florida, the Sunshine State, okay? And so you have all these factors, which that is everywhere. But right now, Florida prices are crazy. And that's even for commercial too. That's for commercial properties. That's why you have all these local businesses that have had to go under because they can't afford it. With all the franchises that have moved in Florida and opened and corporate America and all this stuff. I mean, it's just across the board. That's restaurants too. That's everything. And not to mention, shall we discuss the fact that, what do we have in Florida? Well, we had Epstein here in Florida. We have Mar-a-Lago here in Florida. There's some freaking wonky stuff in Florida. There's some weird stuff. I can vouch for that. All right? So quit trying to hit the talking and the key point. Say the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida voted a blue state. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida turned blue. Truthfully. Among others. But in the grand scheme of things, to be quite frank with you, whether it's blue or red, it's still going to be the same. So, unfortunately, like I said, it's that beanbag that gets thrown. First it was Biden's fault, now it's Trump's. Who's going to be next? Who cares? You have to get stronger to fight for your soul. You do have to get stronger to fight for your soul. Unfortunately, you do. Your soul is precious. It's a precious item that resides inside of you. And we have like 85% of people in this world that unfortunately are still asleep to the reality of what they bought into. And it's just the conditioning of it. It just is. And that's just me throwing out numbers. But that's just the truth. And when I say 85%, I mean they're conditioned to move in their ego, move in their pride, move in the desire for status quo, move in the desire for the title, move in the desire for the money and the materialistic things. And they'll kind of do it at all cost. And they don't recognize it, but the things that they're pouring out into this world are really just not very nice. They're not very kind. Something that came to me, I just am not a power trip person. I've never really been in positions that I've carried in companies. You kind of have to carry a pair of balls, depending on what kind of position you have in the company. And when I was in property management for 8.5, 9 years, I had to kind of grow a pair, given the circumstances of the positioning that just kind of transitioned into me. I didn't really want it, but it just is what it is and how it came to be. There was never really any open discussions in reference to it, truthfully. When I think about it, there really wasn't. It just kind of was, here, Amanda, do it. Sink or swim, baby. And so I swam. I've learned to swim a lot, tread water. Just keep swimming. And so I get it. Depending on your position in the company, you kind of have to have a pair of balls. However, I've never taken the position of talking down to people or talking at people or belittling people in conversations. Particularly if I know that when the conversation is a constructive conversation that needs to adopt change within the company, within the sphere, within the department, or whatever it may be. I understand how people operate, and when you come at people or you talk down to people, you lose their respect. And so it's just one of those things that I've kind of adopted in my course of my working years in this world. And operating in a power trip or competing with anybody outside of myself is just not something I entertain. It's just not, because truthfully, at the end of the day, when you entertain those items, you're just selling yourself short, because you're taking energy away from yourself because you're worried about everybody else and their performance versus your own. And so you're moving your energy in your actions and your thoughts away from you. And in course of that, it's going to show in your performance. It's going to show in your actions. It's going to show how you talk to people. It's going to show how you articulate things. And it's just one of those things. It just does. Whether you agree or not, and unfortunately it just does. And so it's one of those things, if you find yourself on the fence of that, here are some things that could possibly help you change the trajectory of your performance in whatever industry you're in. It helped me, at least. People just have to learn to allow their performance to speak for itself, and eventually it will. But that said, I saw a video yesterday, Jessica Lauren Hope. I've been a big fan of hers. In reference to, a lot of people are jealous of the energy that you have. I could see that. I do have a lot of energy. It does get depleting at times because the energy around me, it's a bit much. But I do have a lot of energy, particularly if I get in the zone. The auto zone, I do. Whether that's my personal life, that's my, business life, whatever. I get in the zone. And that's just something that I've always done. I go 0 to 100 real quick. But now, given what I've walked through in the last 3 years, and the transitioning for myself and the healing mechanisms that I've walked through for myself, for the betterment, for the beneficial factors for me, when you remove the negativity out of your life, when you remove people that were in your life that weren't truly acting in a genuine manner, meaning wanting to see the best outcome for you, providing you the best advice that works for you. When you are surrounded in a reality filled with people that do these things, some of them unintentional, some of them intentional, because again, let's resort back to the 85% of people that are just stuck in the system. And so when they see something in another person that say they think they don't have, which they do have, they then carry this power trip role, this envious role, this jealousy role. And so then they tap into all these different things, whether it's give you poor advice, 9/11 on the clock, give you poor advice, point you in the wrong direction, try to handle you, and all these different things. It sucks the energy out of you. It just does. And so when you remove all those factors out of your life, you then there's a plethora of more energy that you have to pour into yourself and pour into your trajectory, your forward path, your forward movement. And so that's something that I've seen within myself this last year, after I removed a lot of people from my life, not even just remove them physically, but kind of remove them from my mind space, from my head space, and trying to figure out the why, and getting through the pain of the hurt of what the betrayal felt like, and you know, just kind of working through all these things. When I work through my own thoughts,